I will have a presentation about the current status and future prospects of the ethnical data collection in the Czech Republic. I will tell you something about the legal barriers which hinder the discussion about the ethnical data collection. After this, I will present you why we suggest to start with the ethnical data collection in education or at schools. And after this, I will disclose you our own practical proposal. How should we do it? You are very welcome to ask me any questions you have. I will just ask you to spare these questions after my presentation. It will be just 10 minutes. Then it will be your time. Before I'll start with the presentation, maybe I should remind you, why do we need the ethnical data? Why do we have to collect them? So far, we don't know. We've got a lot of anti-discriminatory policies, but we don't know how successful are they, if they help to improve the situation or not. Moreover, the policymakers don't know if they allocate the resources responsibly. On the other hand, we believe that the discussion has moved from this basic step, if we need the ethnical data to collect them or not, to the next step, which is how we are going to collect them. And this is the whole why are you here today, because we will try to find the best way how to collect them. As Catherine said, Liga tried to suggest the best way how to collect the data so far as early as 2007, when we prepared a policy paper. This policy paper is very detailed analysis, and we translate it for you, and you've got it in your welcome pack. The policy paper received a very positive reaction from the public, even from the Czech Statistical Office. Unfortunately, nothing has been changed since this time. The discussion about the ethnical data collection is usually hindered because of some alleged legal barriers. We know that it's not very easy to collect the ethnical data, but I would like to say that it's not prohibited by the law. One of the usually mentioned objections about the collection of ethnical data is the collection with right to private life. Definitely, if you collect data about your ethnicity, it's intervention of your privacy. On the other hand, the right to private life is not absolute, as almost each human right. So it is possible to intervene into this right to privacy if three conditions are met. The first condition is that it must be based on legal act. The second condition is that the purpose of the collection must be legitimate. As I said in the beginning, the purpose of the collection of ethnical data is promoting equal treatment, and this is legitimate purpose. The third condition is that there must exist a proportionality between the method of collection and pursued objective. This will depend on each situation if the method is proportional. However, we can conclude that if we use the least disturbing method of collection, then the third condition will be satisfied. Another objection against the ethnical data collection is that the data are sensitive. Definitely they are sensitive. We know that it's somehow different, the information about your ethnic background, than, for example, information about your age. But the thing that the data are sensitive means just that they are subject to special regime. The special regime means that we need informed and express consent to collect them. So again, it's not prohibited to collect them. It's just a safeguard. Yeah, I'm not going into greater depths as regards the legal barriers, because, as I said, the whole presentation is based on the 5 pages paper you received in your welcome pack. At the beginning, I said that we are proposing to start with the ethnical data collection at schools. Why do we propose to start in this field? because we in Liga believe that investing into education is the best way how to improve the situation of ethnic minorities. So far, we know that ethnic minorities, especially Roma people in the Czech Republic, are discriminated since their early age. In practice, we are sending the Roma children more likely into so-called special schools, which are not today's special schools, but in fact, it still means that we provide them with the lower level of education. The lower level of education means that in their further life, they cannot find a better job, which means that they will depend on social benefits and the segregation will be more deepened. As Mr. Hartoš said, this practice was criticized even by the European Court of Human Rights. I told you why we propose to start with the collection at schools. Now I will tell you about our own proposal. Ethnical data collection in education is nothing new. In Great Britain, they are collecting the data since the 90s. They've got 20 years practice. Therefore, our own proposal heavily draws from this British practice. So we propose that a special form for schools should be prepared. And in this form, there will be a question about the ethnicity, and the parents of the pupil will be asked to fill the form. The question about ethnicity should be closed one, or at least half closed. By this I mean that on the form or on the questionnaire, there will be a list of ethnic groups, and the parents should have the chance to tick one of the options which they believe their child belongs to the ethnic minority. And the half-closed means that if they don't find the ethnic group which they think their child belongs, there will be the possibility of others. This method is in the ethnical data terminology called self-identification or self-reporting. We know that this method of self-identification doesn't work properly in the Czech Republic and even in almost every state of the decade of Roma inclusion. Therefore, we propose that this method of self-identification should be accomplished by the other method, which is identification by others. In practice, it would look like that if the parents refuse or they just don't fill the form, there will be some other person who will, like teacher or a Roma assistant who is working at school, who will declare the ethnic group of the child. We are very well aware of the fact that this proposal is very controversial, because we know that the primary emphasis should be put on the voluntary basis. That means that the parents should declare their own ethnic group. On the other hand, we are trying to avoid, which happens in 2001, where the national census takes place, where, as Mr. Hartoš said at the beginning, a lot of people didn't declare their ethnic minority. We think that this method of identification by others should be used at least in the first years before we persuade the parents that it's completely safe to collect the data about their ethnic minorities. But as I said, the first emphasis is on the voluntary basis. So the ethnical data collection at schools should be accomplished by a lot of informative campaigns. When the forms are filled, they should be sent to the Office of Ombudsman, because we believe that the Office of Ombudsman, or Public Defender of Rights, as we call it in the Czech Republic, is the right state body who should collect the data. And I must say that the new Anti-Discriminatory Act, which came into force in 2009, agree with us, because this new act create a new department in the Office of Ombudsman, whose aim is to provide to promote equal treatment. So they've got special department for the anti-discriminatory policies. The other reason why we believe that the Ombudsman is the right person for collection of ethnical data is the thing that he enjoys a great confidence from the public. The collection of ethnical data by Ombudsman should be supervised by another office. It's the Office for Personal Data Protection. So this is our own proposal, and our action plan, or what should we do now, is that there should be some legislative amendments in the Czech law. By this I mean that the Act on the Public Defender of Rights should be more detailed, because a new competence of the Ombudsman is that he can conduct an independent survey. So this provision should be more detailed, because we know that the data are sensitive and there should be more information about this. The other thing what we propose is that a group of experts should be established. These experts should be from the Office of Ombudsman, from the Czech Statistical Office, from the Office for Personal Data Protection, and from representatives of NGOs and representatives from private research institutes. And the last suggestion of this presentation is that we have to start immediately with the collection, because, as you know, it will take some time to evaluate the data. And without the data, we cannot make sound policies. So let's start now. Thank you for your attention.